First in flight. This is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe. Today we'll be going over First in Flight and how it plays with 2 players. Now, First in Flight is a 1 to 4 player game where you'll be playing over several rounds to start your journey and seeing how far you can fly. The ultimate goal of the game is for somebody in the game to get past 40, and then everybody gets one more chance to fly, or at the end of turn 4, everybody get one more chance to fly. So let's see a little bit more how to play. So in First in Flight, everybody's going to start off with a personality, one of these characters, and hopefully they can get famous one day. But first they start out famous. You're going to start off with 9 cards, a couple basic flight cards, and some basic flight problems, because everybody knows once you start flying, there's always going to be some problems. So you're going to start and wanting to build up this kind of deck. You're going to start with 9 cards, and you're going to want to build it up either with more glides, these number 1 cards, or some more advanced cards. The problem is sometimes the more advanced cards come with more problems. So then the gameplay part is it's a little bit worker placement. So we have a turn order up here, and one person is going to put their pawn on a certain action space and take that action. The next person is going to move, and they can move further or less than the person ahead. But the person behind is going to be the person who gets to move. So it's kind of like a rotating, where do I want to move? How far forward do I want to move? Do I want to give people, I really want that action space, but I don't want to be blocked. In a 2-player game, there is a dummy player. So you'll be going around these boards, and when you hit one of these flight spaces, you're going to take flight. So you're going to get your 9 cards at the beginning. Hopefully you have more cards than that a little bit later. And you're going to flip them one at a time. The goal in the game, like I said, is to get 40 points out here before you crash. At the beginning of the game, you also, as soon as you hit that 4th problem, your plane is down, you're crashed, you got to spend some time to kind of repair and just build yourself back up again. There's a lot of different things you can do to beef up your deck, to move further, to try to get closer to that 40, to maybe even remove problems that you encounter while flying, buying new persona cards to help you out, buying new upgrades for your plane, and buying just different new technologies to have. So there's a lot to this game, but it's basically a kind of a deck building game where you'll start with 9 cards, and by the end of the game, you're going to end up with 20, with 30, and maybe even with 40 cards, hopefully to get you all the way to that 40 point. So let's see a little bit more what I thought about the game. The components in this game, they're fine, nothing really to write home about, but I really like the kind of the linen finish style cards, and the rules and the references. So the rules, very easy to get to the table, and the references, I'm just going to kind of pair these along with it, are just fine. There's a couple parts in the book, but they do give you a back of the rule book reference sheet. Once again, either give me a single card reference sheet or give me a back of the book reference sheet where it tells me what all of these symbols mean, and there are not very many of them. And so the rules I really enjoyed, nice and easy to get through, and the references very clear for this game. So let's talk about setup and table size. Setup really won't take you long. Get a couple of these decks situated, a couple cards flipped over. You start off with your some just basic cards so you know what you're getting, and maybe even a couple advanced problems. But it's really easy to set up and to kind of get this to the table. The table size, that may vary a little bit, but it all depends on how long your flight is. One time my wife had about 30 cards in a flight, and it was just like smattered around. So it may take a little bit of a table, but really is not a table hog at all. So let's get into the gameplay, and the gameplay is really fun. I really like these kind of push your luck, anybody can win style type games. I know some people aren't as into them, but I really like the push your luck games where should I land? There's this landing card, this descend card, where you have to draw 2 more cards when you decide, ooh, enough's enough. I don't want to draw that 4th problem. You land, and then you have to draw 2 more. If you land successfully, you go an extra 5. If you crash, you only go an extra 3. So it really gives that kind of push your luck strategy to it, where when you crash, you are going to have to spend some time to recover. This game is just really kind of fun. There's experience cards you can play, which give you just basic flight cards, which are just 1. Or do you want to try to get some of these advanced ones that have bigger numbers? You may be able to go 5 in a turn, but it's also going to introduce some problems. But the only way to get rid of advanced problems that you're going to get from there is to actually fly, discover the problem, put it in your garage, and then fix it on one of the spaces around the board. Just a nice little mechanic or rotation or just gameplay flow to it. The cards are going to help you out, these static cards. The green ones usually let you look at a couple cards as you take flight and either put them on top or bottom, or may have some deck manipulation. Where some of these yellow cards, kind of the patron cards, some of these are going to let you do some once per turn effects, some big effects that may pay off in the long run. Now you only have 4 turns in this game, so you need to pick some of these up early. Or you're just going to have some basic blue cards that are going to give you some sort of just benefit. So picking up some cards, making your deck more robust, getting rid of the advanced problems, putting in some basic problems. But it's just a push your luck game. You're going to be like saying, all right, I shuffled my cards, here we go. And the 3rd card you draw may be a problem. Or, you may be like, oh man, I drew 5 and then a problem. This is pretty good. And then you just kind of keep on going and you decide when to stop. And hopefully you have enough stuff to make it to that 40 mark. Just a lot of fun, Quacks of Quedlinburg style, distilled style, where you have a little bit of randomness and kind of the everybody can win mentality. And for a game like this, I think that's great. So is this game good for 2? And I really do like this game for 2. We've gotten to the table 3 or 4 times now, and it's just been a lot of fun. There may not be as much to see in every playthrough. There are some cards, but we've seen there's only 5 cards left, and I think in the Persona deck there's several technology cards left, but you see a lot of these cards after several plays, and you know which ones are like, ooh, that one looks pretty good. There are a couple different strategies you can go throughout the game. Do you want to, spend a lot of money, or do you want to kind of skirt by with just having enough money? Do you want to push yourself to be the first in 40, or do you want to beef up your deck till the end and hopefully you can really crush the competition? Once somebody crosses 40, you're like, I'm going to give one more great flight through and off the board. So for 2 players though, it's really back and forth. It's really fast, and they do have a dummy player with a single card, and the dummy player's moves are so easy. You do this, you may get rid of a card. If they fly, you move it up, and that's it. There's not a whole lot to it. But for 2 players, the back and forth is fast. The gameplay is fast. These actions aren't going to take a long time until you take the flight action. Then you can watch the other person, see how far they make it, see how far you want to push your luck. But there's not a lot of player interaction with 2, and there's not really a lot of player interaction at any player count, other than taking different spots on the worker placement track over here. It's loose worker placement. You're not going to want to go too far and really give your opponent a chance to really eat up a lot of the lower spaces in between, which could, incrementally really hurt you in the long run. So 2 players, I really do like this game. There is a lot of luck in this game. So, every red card you draw is just kind of set you back a little bit. But it is a lot of fun. It's just a neat little deck building game. There's some historical relevance to it in the back of the book that you can read, and just a fun overall game. Is it the most complex? Is it the most strategic? No, but really a good game. Good solid game for two, but lacks a little bit of player interaction for me. So that's our review on First in Flight, and until next time.